at that.
Oh wow.
The place is just tucked right in the midst of the rocks.
Ciao! America! Ciao!
Jag vet det var säkert i första många år sedan. Många år sedan.
Men ja, det är klart att det inte var så.
So, we're like 20 minutes from Sweden. Or is it Finland? But then we're going to be dipping back into Norway. You can see where the truck is right there. Beautiful spot. There's all these different flowers. There's some yellow ones too. And go this way.
Alright. Tight in the trees here. We're heading out and continue our way to Kirkenes, I think it's called, which is on the east coast of Norway and about 20 minutes from the Russian border. There's a lot of mozzies, a lot of mosquitoes in the bush last night in this area, my goodness. And somehow some of them made their way into the campers, so we've got I think I found the problem was one of the screens was loose. And we just got to tighten that up because they sneak in by the hundreds. And that's going to be an issue in Finland and Sweden, you know, as we travel south. So that's.
I didn't even think of the thermosol till this morning.
Yeah.
That would have saved us a lot of yeah.
They're so small, but they're so annoying.
So we just pulled over on the side of the road here and made an egg salad on these bread things. But the mosquitoes are just out of control.
Yep.
Anyways, time to eat breakfast.
Kill mosquitoes. So right now we're heading kind of northeast, and we're heading along a river, and that river is the border between Norway and Finland. And in about an hour, we'll cross into Finland for a while, and then back into Norway. And then when we start heading south, we want to spend some time in Finland and Sweden, and then we're going to decide where we go from there. Possibly right down to Helsinki, take a ferry to Estonia. So, but for now, we're exploring the far north of Norway and Finland. As soon as we crossed the border there, I couldn't read the signs, and it looked like it was a toll, but it's actually the place is called Tull, Tully, so I assumed that was a toll. Anyway, I pulled over and parked and walked in, and the two customs guys they're like, no, you don't have to pay a toll. They spoke perfect English. And they're like, but while you're here, tell us about your truck. Where are you from? They were so enthralled with the truck. They'd never seen a truck like this, and you know, asked how we got here and where we're going. So I was like, well, nothing to declare, but at least I got to say hi to you guys. And they were like, yeah, they were pretty happy that we got to, they got to chat about the truck. So we're now in Finland for a little bit. We're excited to be here. So we went to the grocery store in Finland, and we're back in Norway already. That's just the road just cuts through Finland briefly way up here. It's the very top of Finland. So we're going to carry on to the coast, and then we'll see a lot more of Finland on the way south.
I liked their grocery store.
Yeah.
We found everything we needed in one shop.
Including things like camping gear and propane, and you name it. They had everything there. So we're just about to the easternmost point of Norway, but up here the gas prices are a lot higher. We're so far north and so far east that the fuel is getting pretty expensive, but it is what it is.
Is that too fast?
So far in Norway, fresh water is quite accessible. Most service stations have it. We're at a library in a little parking area for motorhomes, and they've got water. So.
And garbage. Like you don't have to hold your garbage for a long time.
Garbage and recycling containers everywhere. But we've used our guzzle H2O out of a lake here, and there's lakes and rivers, but most of the water, we've been on the coast for so long, most of the water is salt water, so it's very handy having these fill-ups. After fueling up and filling our water tank, we take the scenic drive up the coast about 70 kilometers from Vardø to the little island of Vardo. Reached through an undersea tunnel, Vardø feels like the very edge of the map, Norway's easternmost town, closer to Russia than to its own capital, Oslo. Shaped by centuries of fishing and hardened by Arctic winds, it was once a heavily fortified outpost during World War II. Today, Vardø is a place where history lingers in the ruins, but creativity and resilience shine through in art, culture, and the people who call this rugged island home. As soon as we arrive, we take a walk around Vardø, a town that has always been tied to the sea. For hundreds of years, life here was built on fishing and on trade with the Russian Pomors. The Russians called the region Pomorland, and they saw the people of Finnmark as kindred spirits, coastal folk who lived by the tides, just as they did. Fish was traded for wood and flour, and over time the two cultures blended. They sang together, worked together, and even created a shared language, a mix of Russian and Norwegian, to make trade and friendship easier. The Pomor traders sailed in small wooden vessels called sinjaka, often crewed by two men and a young helper, making their way along the coasts of Murman and Finnmark well into the 20th century. These bonds of trade and culture helped shape Vardø into the town we see today. Vardø Hus Fortress is the world's northernmost fortress, and was originally built to secure Norwegian, later Danish-Norwegian sovereignty on the northern frontier. present-day fortress was erected between 1734 and 1738. It is shaped as a perfect 8-pointed star with low stone-clad earth walls based on Central European principles. Inside the walls, there are 9 characteristic buildings grouped around a courtyard. As the 1900s progressed, the fortress lost its military significance, but was nonetheless maintained as an operative facility until around 1950. We were wondering how they moved the cannons and things like that back in the day, but this is a team of horses and a special wagon they have there was used to move artillery around. We're sitting here right at the end of the island. Across is another island, which is a bird sanctuary, and everything between here and there is, we've never seen so many seabirds. And for the first time ever, Carol was just scoping these little birds, and then she's like, oh my word, those are puffins. So we've seen puffins now for the first time. We've been in areas where puffins live quite a few times, like in Bluff, the southernmost part of New Zealand, but we didn't end up seeing them. So now we see them popping up all over the place, and there's across on that bird sanctuary there's literally hundreds and hundreds of them. So, and aside from that, there's ducks that look like mergansers and these nesting swallows, and then different types of cormorants. It's just a bird watcher's paradise. There's a puffin right in front of me. What a beautiful bird with the big beak, white head, orange around the eye. Just a very unique bird. So it's quite chilly up here. We're well north of the Arctic Circle, and they say it doesn't get much warmer than this, and we're in the middle of July, or the end of July. So Carol thought, since it's so chilly, we should probably have a chili. That's what we're having. It's always delicious. Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vic. This morning the wind and waves picked up, and all the boat rides to Hornoja, the little bird sanctuary island just off Vardø, were cancelled. Thousands of seabirds nest there in the summer, but today the seas were too rough to make the crossing. As we were taking it all in, a gentleman from Italy, whom we had met briefly yesterday, stopped by to say ciao.
That's awesome.
We will see you maybe in it.
Maybe. Probably. Ciao, America.
Thanks for saying that. Nice to meet you. I love how you travel together so much. Oh, yeah, that's good. We'll look them up.
My friend.
Oh, okay.
This is my friend.
Oh, nice.
Ciao, America. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Iowa, Montana, Silicon Valley, Texas, Florida, Massachusetts.
You know the whole place.
Hey, Mamma Mia.
You have to ship your truck to America.
It's morning.
We would love to have you in America if it works out.
But we'll come to Italy.
You're always welcome.
In America.
Yeah, well,
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thy name is
Carol.
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 Yes.
Carol, right?
This is ciao.
Ciao.
Take care. Safe travels.
What a wonderful couple. We met them yesterday. They're from Italy. He came up to see the truck and was just so interested in it. He has a Ford that he put 400,000 kilometers on and is still going strong, so he loved the Ford. And now we met his wife, and they just travel. They're a retired couple. They have a house in Italy, which they invited us to, which would be nice. And then they just travel around. They've been up here about 4 times to Norway, and they go all through Europe. Ciao. Wonderful people. I think that's the joy of travel and been our experience so far here in Europe and Scandinavia. All the people you get to meet is just the best part. My wife Carol.
Hi. I'm Carol. Hi.
Nice to meet you. This beach,
Oh yeah.
it's on the island outside Lofoten.
Oh, how do you get the ferry?
Ferry.
We also met a gentleman we were just talking to. He actually lives in Lofoten, but he comes over to this side to do hiking and to explore. And he gave us a bunch of really good pointers to stop at as we make our way south again. So we may never leave this place, there's so much here. A little cafe here, we're warming up a bit with a beautiful view. Hey Carol, how's it going?
Good. I made it to the Mason Center and just looking around. So much history.
Nice. That's a couple kilometers, isn't it? Probably 3.
I think so, yeah. It's all the way around the port here.
Carol's taking a walk into town while I'm doing some work on the computer and editing and things like that, and we can stay in touch. And she's walked about 3 kilometers into town and we're still communicating, so that to us is very, very handy. You know, she doesn't have any connection to cellular on her phone or anything like that, so it's just a great way to communicate when you're in places like this. Good morning. What a pleasant place to sleep. We had a lot of wind yesterday, but today it's calm and beautiful. We're going to be moving on, exploring more of this area. We're just moving from this pier, this spot here by the ocean. But it's been an amazing place to camp. We've met so many people. Folks from Germany have come and said hi, Sweden, Norwegians, telling us, and Italians. We met so many people. Telling us all kinds of places to explore, and our list just keeps getting longer. But we're going to kind of head up north on the island for a bit and explore the place where Pete, Dan, and Caroline went with Overland. And then we'll get off the island and drive to the end of the road here. You can't go any further than that. It's apparently an old fishing town that's no longer operational. And then we'll see where we go from there. Jump in, let's go on an adventure. As we reach the northern tip of the island, we notice crumbling concrete ruins left behind from World War II.
You have your phone light?
One second.
Put on the headlamp. Oh, wow.
During the German occupation, Vardø was transformed into a heavily fortified stronghold, part of Hitler's Atlantic defenses guarding the Barents Sea. Bunkers, gun positions, and observation posts were built into the coastline, manned by soldiers, enduring long dark winters in this remote outpost.
Look at that little crazy.
Today, these ruins remain, silent, weathered by the Arctic winds, slowly being reclaimed by nature. For many locals, they're reminders of a dark chapter they would just as soon forget. Yet it's remarkable how much has changed in the decades since. Once divided by war, Norway and Germany are now close allies, their relationship reshaped by peace, cooperation, and a shared future.
It's kind of gross looking at it like from this perspective.
Yeah.
Like right here. No, thank you.
This would have mounted a gun
Yeah, 3 of them.
there. Here on this rugged island at the edge of Europe, the ruins stand as both a warning from the past and a testament to how far reconciliation can carry us. Watch your steps, some of these stairs aren't the best.
Look how steep those stairs are. They don't even really work. Oh. You know, I've never been in a trench before. Pete and I were just talking about that and discussing just what we're, you know, climbing around and going through and seeing how the guns were all positioned, and what a sick, you know, feeling in your stomach walking around it. It's not pleasant. I mean, it's interesting, but it's definitely, yeah, it just gives you a weird feeling, and it just makes you so thankful. Like, I honestly had to do just a little prayer of thanks for our freedoms and what we have, and for all the men and women who serve to protect us. And it is something to not take for granted, you know, because it can be taken away in a flash. And I mean, just being over here where there's been 2 world wars is crazy what people had to endure and go through, and families torn apart. And this is a stark reminder of not to take it for granted. What a crazy place to be in. It's a little scary. be honest with you. What a beautiful part of the island with all their flowers. Like, they're just everywhere. Everything's in bloom, it seems like, right now. That's a lot farther away than what it looked. Whew. When we first got here, it was really neat, and I thought the town was cool. I thought, you know, what we were doing, going to the most easterly point in Norway. And then I got out my binoculars and I looked out at the cliff and in the water, and I almost fell over. Like, I was so excited I could barely even call Pete. There were puffins, like just hundreds, if not thousands of puffins, and just birds of all sorts and sizes, and it really just takes your breath away. And I can't believe we got to see puffins. I've always wanted to see them, and now we got to. So that was a massive check mark, and it's so worth coming here. And the people are just amazing. The nicest people, well, everywhere has been the nicest people, but they just give you so many tips, and you know, they're always drinking cozy coffees and just out exploring, and yeah, it's just really, really fun. I'm so thankful Pete and I were able to go on this trip.
Just down the dirt road from the crumbling ruins of war, the Drakkar Leviathan rises from the coast, a Viking ship fused with a sea monster. Built in 2016 by Russian artists, it was gifted to Vardo as a tribute to the centuries-old bond between Russian fishermen and this remote Norwegian town. Where the ruins speak of destruction and occupation, the sculpture tells a different story, of myth, resilience, and friendship across borders. Both endure under the same relentless Arctic winds.
So this morning when we were leaving, I was filming the truck leaving by those really cute statues, and I think I left the lens cap down on the ground there, so we're coming all the way back to see if it's still there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it is. Otherwise I'm gonna have to use one of my socks over the lens to protect it, but it should be there. No, nothing was there. It's locked.
I thought you were standing on the rocks.
I was standing over there. But I set it down to go get that thingy.
What's that right on the end of that rock?
It looks like the cap, but it's not. It's a flat rock.
We just left Vardo and we're back on the mainland, and we're heading up to an old abandoned fishing village called Hamningberg, I think, and we'll show you around there. It's a very narrow road going up there, and I don't think anyone lives up there anymore, but we'll see. A bunch of the locals referred us to, or suggested we go up there, so we're heading north. a really neat road. There's little cabins along the way, just stuck in amongst sharp, jagged rocks, and just such a neat landscape here. Feels like you're on the moon, really. Look at that.
Oh wow.
The place is just tucked right in the midst of the rocks. I do have to keep a close eye on the road because it is one lane, and you got to share it. There hasn't been a lot of traffic. It's a pretty remote place. We are way north of the Arctic Circle, and that town back there where we stayed, Vardo, is a couple 100 kilometers north of Anchorage, Alaska. So that just gives you an idea of where we are. Looks like a herd of reindeer. I mean, we're still a ways away, but up just right on the beach, so hopefully we can get up there and film it for you. So we just pulled in, we found a little camp spot here, right at the end of the road. This is it for this side of Norway. There's no more roads beyond here. I think it'll be a nice quiet spot to camp for tonight. We're gonna get the camp set up and then we'll take a walk into the little village and see what's over there. I think there's a cafe or something. And we'll explore the remnants of that fishing, I think once thriving fishing village.
Wow.
Join us next week as we explore the abandoned fishing village of Hamningberg. We'll dive into its fascinating history, sample some of the local delicacies, and then make our way even further into the backcountry along Norway's rugged east coast. Along the way, Carol discovers something she's been searching for since we arrived in the north.